All right, welcome back to the Dave K Show. I'm David K. Gyro. We're so glad that you joined us tonight. And continuing our excellent lineup of guests, we kind of reversed our order of guests a little bit tonight. We have coming up next Mr. Jason, or should I say Dr. Jason Collins, running for New Roads Mayor. And he's right here in the studio with us on the other side of the table, and I'm looking at him right now. Dr. Collins, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
It's a pleasure to have you on tonight, and we're making a conscious effort to really get all of our candidates out here and put everything on the table, discuss our problems that we have, and discuss the good points that we have and everything. But first of all, I want to kind of set you up as your qualifications. Let's just talk about a little bit about who you are and what you do for a living.
Well, it's kind of you to invite me. I'm glad I'm having the opportunity to speak to your audience.
Sure.
Basically, I'm a 30-year practice physician.
Okay.
I'm basically retired as of a year and a half ago. I used to deliver babies.
Okay.
And I came to New Roads after Katrina. I've been here 5 years, but my family's been here for several generations.
So Katrina pretty much is, I say displaced or whatever, but I mean everybody got out of Dodge, out of New Orleans, and so you just wound up in New Roads.
Oh, yeah. Well, my family's here, my mother's here, and
right.
I've got lots of cousins here. So,
right.
So this is familiar territory to me. I especially loved New Roads growing up because I used to literally come up here on a Greyhound bus.
Really?
And my grandfather, Mr. L.W. White, used to meet me at the Greyhound bus.
Really?
And my grandfather, Mr. L.W. White, used to meet me at the Greyhound bus station.
Wow.
And I'd bring my fishing pole and my tackle box.
Yeah.
And he'd take me fishing. And then he'd stick
River.
me back on the bus and send me back home.
When he was finished with you.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to do that with your grandkids, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. But I had a great time. I had a great time with all my cousins, and, a lot of them still live here, so
great.
It's
very
nice
good.
to be around them.
Very, very good. Very good. So you have that connection to New Roads. That's very, very good.
Oh, yeah. What was interesting is my son was the same age as one of my nephews.
Okay.
And they got to know each other at Catholic High.
Right.
And they're best friends now.
Wow.
And they hang around and mess around, so that was nice for him.
Pretty cool.
To learn a whole nother dimension of his family.
Right, that's great. So now, I guess in your professional life, where are you at right now as far as your practice is concerned?
Well, I stopped practicing a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And my wife's a physician. She's an ophthalmologist.
Okay.
But we decided that it was time to change things.
Right.
So I'm involved in just trying to make New Roads better.
Very, very good, very good. We have a lot of stuff going on New Roads, political-wise, whatever. What kind of cued you in and said, hey, look, you know what, I think I need to run for mayor? What made you decide to run for mayor?
Well, New Roads is so special to me, and with all those memories,
right.
that it has to be protected, kept the way it is, in my opinion.
Right.
I want to keep New Roads special, and for it to be the place that it is where everybody loves. I mean, they love coming here. They love picking up pecans. They love swimming in the lake.
Yep.
They love the rural nature of it. And I want to see it stay that way as best as possible up against whatever developments occur, but I want it to stay that way.
Right. I want to start off on a positive note right now, and you pretty much set up my next question, but we're going to discuss it a little bit more in detail. That is the good qualities that New Roads has. And I was on some prior guests a minute ago, I was talking about New Roads is just growing so much with the bridge coming and everything, and the businesses are booming up. New businesses are popping up all over the place. Like I said, 12 o'clock lunchtime, all the restaurants are packed with people, and this place is really, really getting pretty big right now. And I think we need some good leadership to steer our city in the right direction. In your opinion, I guess from a business standpoint, being mayor, if you were to be elected mayor, what are some good selling points of New Roads?
Well, New Roads has a unique position in the state and its location.
Right.
The lake is just beautiful. So it has that draw of that imagery, which people love to come see.
Right.
So that's the best selling point of New Roads, period. And when we came here, we were taken in by the community. They were just as lovely as they can be, and it's a very nice place to grow up. It's a very nice place to live on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So I'd say that's its biggest selling point.
I think so too. That's a common theme upon everybody I talk to, whether it be just citizens, politicians, or whatever. We love the lake out here. New Roads is a big drawing point, economic-wise and everything. Also, I'm assuming that you're hitting the campaign trail pretty hard right now. You're out there on a grassroots level. You're talking to everybody out there, knocking on doors. What are some of the concerns that people are voicing to you right now?
Well, I'd say right off the bat, I've basically knocked on doors from east to west twice.
Really?
So I've been doing some walking. And the basic concerns I'm hearing are that they're very concerned about the educational system. I mean, they look across the river there at St. Francisville and say, why is that system so good and why can't we get up to par? So that's a major comment I hear on a regular basis. I think the second thing is businesses. It's over 500 businesses in the New Roads corporate limits, according to the Chamber of Commerce.
500 businesses.
500 businesses.
Wow.
So these businesses want to participate in the activities of the city, and some of them feel like they're not being able to do so. So for New Roads' future, I think there needs to be a prioritization where the businesses that are functioning in New Roads should be favored.
Right.
Now, if they can't provide the product or the service or the need, whatever it may be, okay, well, then you have to go outside the system unless you can approach that type of business, let's say, paper products, and say, can you get us paper products at a good price so we don't have to go outside the system?
Right.
So that's a big element that I hear a lot.
Right. I see a lot of other candidates have come on and said, shop local. We push, buy over here in New Roads. Take your, keep your business right here. And I think if we do that, that'll set up the environment where we can have more selections and options to choose from in the local area. Right. If we go out to Baton Rouge all the time and purchase our stuff, we're giving our money basically out of the parish and out of the city or whatever. So what you said makes a lot of sense.
Well, not only that, but there's opportunities to set up new businesses.
Right.
So, for instance, there's no transportation system here. But you could set up a system and an LLC where everybody can participate in the transportation system. Let me give you an example. Let's just say any individual could put up $20 and invest in this transportation system, and anybody that has a car, that has a driver's license, that has seat belts, and you would have some criteria for that, could book themselves as the driver. And they can say, okay, I'll take 2 hours today, and I'll drive people around for 2 hours today. And whatever revenue they pick up, they bring it back to the central segment, and then eventually that's all redistributed at the end of the year.
Interesting.
So it's not a typical for-profit business. It's more of a developmental business, but then anybody and everybody gets to participate.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense. I like to ask a lot of people like this too, because whenever you become the mayor, you're kind of like the negotiator or whatever. Everybody has differences of opinion or whatever. Nobody thinks like you think, and everybody sometimes you're going to be butting heads with people and everything. How would you handle a situation where you and another council member are butting heads? How would you come to a common agreement?
Well, I've been doing this for years. I was chief of staff at my hospital. I had to get in between a heart surgeon and a neurosurgeon butting heads.
Wow.
So I've done these kind of things before, and it's just a matter of finding out what each person's opinions are, help me understand your position. Once I do that, then I'll say, okay, what about this or what about that? But I've done that many times for many years. Right.
Yeah. So it's something that you've practiced on for sure. Yeah. Okay, well, what's your vision for New Roads? I mean, what do you see in the future for the city of New Roads?
New Roads is an ideal location for a lot of interesting potential processes. For instance, biotechnology is a great potential here for New Roads.
We always think of this as being an agricultural parish.
That's right.
But that's interesting that you brought that up.
Biotechnology, a genetics center, all type of possibilities are out there.
Wow.
So, a research center. I mean, you've got lots of medical opportunities in Baton Rouge where you can create extensions. I mean, this is an ideal location for a cancer research center.
Wow.
Because of the population breakdown and what we're located near, which is the Exxon refinery.
Right.
And a lot of people over the years have been worried about what's the impact of that refinery on health. My own aunt died at 45 of bilateral breast cancer.
Wow.
And so, we've always wondered, well, why did that happen? Because nobody else in the family had that problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So these things, I would think, would benefit the town if they had a place they could go to and say, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that, and say, well, here, we're doing genetics research, come participate in this project, and we'll find out what your potential risk is.
Right. Wow. I was talking to a previous guest that I had with the hospice, and I've been with the coroner's office for 6 years. I worked for the funeral home. I'm a paramedic also, so I've seen all of the spectrum or whatever. And I was in the funeral home the other day looking through the last 3 years of the death certificates that we had, and I'm flipping through them. I'm going like heart disease, cancer, heart disease, like a wreck, cancer. I mean, it's just everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And I'm thinking, I was asking the previous guest, I mean, do you think that's maybe lifestyle related? Is it genetic? Is it the location that we live in, the air that we're breathing?
It may be all the above. I mean, new genetic research suggests that you have a potential, but not necessarily an activation. Now,
Okay.
any one of the things you just mentioned could be an activator or a trigger if you're predisposed. And we're right on the threshold of being able to do a genetic profile that's 40,000 genes. All right, I mean, to look at,
Right.
rather than your chromosome, and you'll be able to literally swab your cheek, put it in a test tube, and for maybe $500, you'll be able to see that risk. We're very close to having that capability.
Right.
Once you see that, if you have a risk of being triggered by chemicals, then you may want to do something about that environmental exposure.
Right. Change your lifestyle, or like I said, move locations or whatever. That's very interesting. You know, the whole genome project, all the genes are mapped right now. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Right. That is very, very interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to go on a break right now. We're going to have you back on the other side of this break, and we got a few more things we want to discuss before we let you go, because you're a wealth of information. I want to get some more stuff from you.
Okay.
So we're going to be back on the other side of this break.